It is July 23rd, 2021. This is the Watchman News, and I'm Mike Callahan. I wanted to get some important information out to you today before Shabbat starts, because then I can't work. So I believe that this is important information. Some of this information I had saw today in a Facebook group, and so I figured I would grab it, pass it on to you. And the other part of the information is a video that Roy Potter had done today, and I am just going to put it out again as well. He requested everybody make a copy or record it and stuff, so I figured I would put it out on another channel as well. Anyway, so let's get to the first part of it. The supply line issues are far from over, and there is indication of that in a letter to a company. Let me go ahead and bring you over to that view, and this is that letter. I don't know what company this is to, and I'm not going to say the name of the gentleman that shared it because I don't know how much liberty they had in doing so I have no idea. This is what was shared, though. An update on the current challenges faces international supply chain customers moving cargo to and from the USA. Dear valued customer, the U.S. transportation infrastructure continues to experience severe challenges as ports, terminals, and railroads grapple with historic import volumes. Over the past few days, we have seen first suspension of intermodal service by several of the Class 1 railroads. These challenges are being faced by all parties involved in the international supply chain. Now, remember, there's issues right now with truck drivers. There's not enough truck drivers, right? So the trucking industry is really heavily strained, right? Now we're dealing with train suspensions, right? Check this out. Union Pacific announced the suspension of eastbound service of all import cargo moving from USWC ports/terminals to their Chicago Global 4 facility. This action is set for a period of at least 7 days as of July 18, 2021. It is an attempt to clear the current backlog of containers, some of which have reportedly been at the facility for 7+ weeks. Okay, and again, a lot of this is likely due to the shortages of drivers for, trucks. BNSF advised that they are suspending service to Chicago for at least the next 2 weeks. This takes effect July 18, 2021 from all terminals in Los Angeles/Long Beach. Service from Oakland and Tacoma are currently not impacted. Rail terminals are congested with containers as well as loaded rail cars. Lack of terminal space reduces the ability to offload rail cars, which also impedes the ability to reposition rail cars back to ports. Okay? Then they've got other information there. It also says if the situation is not improved by the above actions, other U.S. inland ramp locations may be added and more restrictions implemented at various ports. Rail terminal congestion is also causing metering of export containers to some U.S. ports. This results in fewer rail cars being repositioned to ports. It exacerbates the existing challenges and delays moving IPI import containers. Rail storage, assessed by the individual railroad, is not being waived and starts after 1 to 2 days depending on the railroad and ramp location. Apparently there's a chassis shortage. Challenges in the ports, and then they do mention trucking. It says with ongoing congestion, assessment of demurrage charges can be expected to continue. That was the end of the port challenges. The trucking industry throughout the USA is experiencing record volumes while struggling to retain and attract drivers. The driver population is aging and currently has a shortage of at least 60,000 drivers. Lead time for container dray driver, I think that's supposed to be day driver availability, is anywhere from 5 to 28 days depending on the port or ramp location. And it might be dray. I have no idea. I don't know the industry. So here's what it says on ocean carriers. Container vessel capacity is maxed out with all suitable vessels being utilized. Carriers are being shifted capacity from one trade lane to another based on demand and revenue streams. FAC and FAC premium rates are now the norm, regardless of the trade. The U.S. trucking situation has also resulted in ocean carriers implementing emergency intermodal surcharges for all their carrier haulage moves, import and export. Port and terminal congestion is a global issue and not limited to the U.S. We're seeing varying levels of port congestion charges being announced and implemented by carriers. Empty equipment availability at origins, especially throughout Asia, is extremely tight for all carriers and leasing companies. They are repositioning empties as quickly as possible, sometimes at the expense of low-yielding export cargo and cargo requiring extended free time at destination or is destined to a port served only via feeder service. Continued port delays across the globe have rendered on-time performance rates in the 30 to 40% range. At this time, this is important, there is no indication as to when cargo will again flow at pre-pandemic service and transit time levels. There's only a matter of time before we are going to start running out of the goods that we need to survive. Okay? There is being talk made about possibilities of huge shortages as far as in the food supply chain starting this coming month. Don't know if it's true. All I'm doing is getting out there what's being talked about, what's being mentioned. I know we hear this stuff time and time and time again, but you don't hear me talk about it time and time and time again. And the reason why is because I know there's a lot of people out there that like to fearmonger because that gets them views, that gets them money in their pocket from their YouTube check, and they really don't care in all reality what situation you're in. I'm not here to do that, folks. I told you that I would do my best to warn you when I thought it was time to warn you. I believe it is time to warn you. I think it's time. Make sure you are doing what you can to get ready. Now, Roy Potter, the channel, and I will put a link in the description of the video to this video, okay? Roy Potter, QA is the name of the channel, put out a video earlier, and let me raise this up so you can see the title. Military urging officers to get their houses in order, okay? And I'm just going to play his video real quick, and then I'll wrap it up. So real quick, here's Roy Potter.
All right, hello everyone. Today is the 23rd of July, 2021, and I thought I better put this up. I have a really good source that has contact with both active and retired military. Of course, I'm no longer with the military, but I'm very aware of how the military operates, obviously. And as I've been telling you for a long time, things are getting really nasty. We see what's happened with the supply chains, and I mentioned this yesterday, the ships offshore, the containers sitting and not being able to get transported or getting materials transferred to them, the rail lines being basically slowed down, even stopped. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, they're turning off the economy. And I think anybody knows that. I went to get gas this morning in Salt Lake City at a Costco. It's now $4 a gallon for premium, which is what I use in my car because I'm trying to extend its life. But at any rate, the point is that the shelves are getting bare. Energy is getting more scarce. We have all of these different things happening with what apparently are attacks on the grid. Hello, Marshall, how you doing? Attacks on the grid, cyber attacks, warnings from the elites that there are going to be all of these different cyber pandemics, etc., etc. In other words, as I've said, they're attacking us on multiple fronts, in depth, and with full spectrum dominance. So I've been watching as people have been warning about the problem with the shutdowns and the supply, especially food and basic necessities. Well, I received a bit of information yesterday and further this morning that on certain military bases, and I imagine this is throughout the entire military, and I don't know about the enlisted ranks, okay, but apparently amongst the officers, especially the higher up officers, 04, 05, etc., they're being told to get their houses in order with what's coming. What they're saying is that they need to go out and get food, water, and supplies now. Now, you'd think that being on military installations, they would have access because the military has to continue taking care of their, hi Mrs. Cat, have to take care of their people. But that may not necessarily mean the families, especially in a bad situation. But whatever's going on, whatever it is, with the movement of materials, the military materials, I've talked about seeing some U.S. military tactical vehicles being stockpiled in places where they normally aren't, and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is because this is when they're doing their summer training." I know what happens in summer training, and these are not for summer training. Okay, that's not what's happening. They're repositioning vehicles. Something's getting ready to go down, I guess. And with this situation, with them telling the military officers to get their houses in order and to get supplies, food, water, etc. for themselves and their families is critical. So that's inside information. No, I'm not going to give you the source. I think if you're smart enough, and I think most of you are, despite the trolls out there, that if you're watching any of this going on, you can see it anyway. You don't need me to tell you this, but the additional information that inside military folks are saying, get ready, you got to get yourselves supplied because this is going to go south real quick. I don't know why. It could be a situation with China. It could be that Biden's invited the UN in. We're seeing what apparently are some UN identifications here and there. I don't know that for sure. I don't have direct information on that, but this is direct information that inside the military, amongst the upper officer ranks at any rate, whether it's official or not, I doubt it's official. I don't think this is coming down from SHTF or from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs or anybody like that. This is just people in the know, in the military, that are warning their buddies, their officer friends, you better get ready because this thing's going south right now. Get everything you need now. Don't wait. So there are military families right now, at least in the upper officer ranks, that are hitting the Costco's, the Walmarts, the Sam's Clubs, etc., trying to get their stuff together. We see the shortages in the UK right now. They're talking about it right now. The entire lockdown that's going on there, the unjustified things that are happening over all of this. As I said, and this video, I shouldn't even be putting it up this way because it'll probably be flagged, right? But this is the quickest way to reach everybody. Record this thing down now. This is the warning. I've been talking about it for a long time. Get yourselves ready as best you can, okay? All right, I'm going to go. They're not on our side. Nobody in the government's on our side. Nobody in the corporations. We've been marked for elimination. It's pretty obvious. See y'all later.
So, there's a lot of movement going on around the country as well. You heard Roy talking about that. I have seen individuals reporting a lot of extra military aircraft activity in and around multiple different military facilities. Something much more than the norm, and in other words, something to indicate that something is going on. I'm with Roy. I don't know if this has to do with possible shortages, food shortages, if this might have something to do with something with China. I don't know. I'm not real sure. But I will say that I had noticed before Roy made this video or anything like that, before anybody said a thing, I had noticed some let's just say some changes in assets. Okay? There was some changes in assets, and that's all the information I'm going to give on it. And that got my attention. That really got my attention. So I've been paying a close eye on that. That was about a week ago. And I've been paying a real close eye, waiting to see what's next. looks like this is it. It looks like this warning that's going around is kind of the next. So I would get ready. I would do as the same as what those officers have been talking about. I would get your houses in order. So anyway, I wanted to get this out to you. I hope you all have an incredible day, a wonderful weekend. As always, Shabbat Shalom.